G'day, I'm Paul. It's not often that a new RAV4 rolls out, but after giving you videos from the Tokyo Motor Show, a pre-production drive, we finally have a production car here in Australia. So this is the new Toyota RAV4. It's kind of the same platform as the last one, but they've made a few tweaks here. So it's not technically all new, but it's kind of new. RAV4 has grown in price. It now kicks off 3 or 4 grand more than the previous generation. But this one here, the Edge all-wheel drive, is actually like $3,000 cheaper than the last one at around 55 grand. So in my mind, really good value for money, especially when you consider the new CX-5 has a naturally aspirated engine with no hybrid technology, and it's about the same price as this. So today we're going to do a detailed review of this car. So if you do want to skip ahead to other parts of this review, you've got time codes up on the screen there, or if you're on YouTube, you can scroll down and use the chapters below. The design, what do we think of it? Look, I think Toyota's designs are very iterative. They don't really sort of make big sweeping changes, but this one is enough of a change to make it look different. And I think this looks really cool. Like the Edge, especially in this color, it just stands out nicely on the road. It turns heads, which you don't really expect for a Toyota product. So I think it's a nice looking car. You've got full LED headlights up the front here. A lot of these sort of rugged plastic elements to make it look like you go off-road and do sort of adventure things. Around the side here, you've got plastic wheel arch covers to protect you when you're doing your fake off-road. 18-inch alloy wheels with like a matte finish on them with a chubby profile tyre there. So Toyota typically does ride really well for driving in and around the city. So I'll be curious to see whether this sort of carries on that trait and what it feels like on our sine waves, which tend to unsettle cars that are quite light. Piano black here, bizarrely on the wing mirror. You've got more of that sort of plastic finish down the bottom here, which breaks up that paint colour. You've got privacy glass, roof rails. Come around to the back with me. Around the back, you've got LED tail lights, this hybrid badge, which the whole RAV4 range is now hybrid, so that will sort of signify that. And then RAV4 lettering up the top here with a shark fin aerial up the top there. So what do you reckon about the design? Do you like the look of it? Let me know your thoughts. Are you buying a new car? Well, you can scan the QR code on the screen. We can try and get you a better deal. That is what we aim to do. That'll put you in touch with our marketplace team. It is a free service. We basically help connect you with the right car at the right price, and then all you need to do is go to the dealer and pick it up. So we kind of take all the stress out of it. So if you are buying a new car, scan the QR code and see if we can save you some money. So we're inside the RAV4. This is what the key looks like. You've got lock, unlock, boot, the Toyota logo, and then RAV4 on the back. It is a proximity sensing key, so you just leave that in your skyrocket. You've got a power button just over here to fire things up. So if you've seen our other sort of previews of the RAV4, I'll kind of be recapping old ground here, but I'll run through it anyway. Look, I think this looks really good. RAV4 has always been about sort of adventure, being a sort of one of those products that you want to get rough and tumble and a bit dirty, and that's kind of what this interior presents. It's nice around the edges, but it still has those rough components that give you the impression that it is durable. And now they've added all of this technology to it to really just make it feel like it's stepped into the current day and age, which is really cool. So I'm a big fan of the design. This sort of touch points, what do they feel like? You've got soft on the center there, nice and soft on the door as well. How soft are they? We've got our durometer. We've tested all the main surfaces in this cabin. If you do want to see how this car compares to others we've tested before, there is a link in the description below. Build quality, what is it like? Well, a little sort of shaky through the center there, but the rest of this feels pretty good. That's what the door slam sounds like. Let's talk infotainment. This is probably the biggest change here for the RAV4. Toyota has kind of been a bit of a laggard when it comes to infotainments and technology systems. This is a huge leap forward though, because it is a brand new infotainment system on a brand new software stack, and it brings with it a whole bunch of technology we haven't seen in Toyota products before. So your sort of standard navigation is built into it, but you then also have all your smartphone mirroring functions, which I'll show you in just a second. But you can see here, you've got these customizable cards that you can sort of move around and change if you want to. It has connectivity with the internet, so you can connect to the vehicle remotely. You've got your SOS function as well if you ever run into any drama. There is a second SOS function that I'm going to show you a little bit later on when we go for a drive as well. But you know, they really have just gone to a lot of effort here to make sure that this all works exactly how it needs to work. It's nice and fast and responsive. There's nothing worse than having one of these infotainment systems that just barely does anything. One thing I think they could improve here is the sound system. It's pretty poxy. You would have thought here for the sort of mid to higher grades they'd have something fairly decent. But yeah, it's not amazing. You do have a wireless smartphone mirroring in the form of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This is what Apple CarPlay looks like. So nice full screen integration there. Yeah, all sort of functions work nicely. This is what Android Auto looks like. Also a full screen setup. Nice and quick and responsive there too. Screen ahead of the driver, this is a good one. So you've got basically all the key information there. It doesn't have a head-up display, but it kind of doesn't need it because this is right in that sweet spot in terms of getting the vision that you need for the Speedo. There's a stack of different views you can pick from as well. And the cool thing is that it's currently projecting my Waze map app onto the display ahead of me. So it gives you all of the sort of alerts and notifications you'd expect to get, which is a really cool setup. Sort of just go a little bit further than what these systems are typically able to do. So I quite like the way that all functions. Now on the parking front, you've got front and rear parking sensors with a rear view camera. This is what it looks like. Quality's, reasonably good, not too bad. What else can we do here? You can go wide or not wide. Very good. No 360 camera though. And this is what the horn sounds like. In terms of practicality and your connectivity options, you've got a wireless phone charger, but I reckon this is so cheap. 15 watt USB-C outlets, which 15 watts really isn't that much at all. And the thing to consider is that you go higher up in the RAV4 grade and you get more power output from the USB-C port. So it's like your platform's capable of it, but you then cheap out with that stuff. And I just think it is just a bit cheap and nasty. But anyway, outside of that, you've got in the center console here, another USB-C outlet and a 12 volt outlet. By the way, have a look at this. This whole thing comes out. You can turn it around and use it as a tray if you want, or you can open it from either side. I feel like one of those Danos Direct people that are showing you how the portable ladder works. There it is. Outside of that, you've got cup holders here, a little bit of storage down the bottom there, and then an okay sized glove box, a little bit of storage up the top there too. Sunny's holder up here as well, so it's sort of fully featured there. Outside of those things, comfort, you have dual zone automatic climate control, heated seats, seat adjustment, electric for the driver, a manual for the passenger, so you can go forwards and backwards. You can move your backrest, you can lift the front of the seat, back of the seat, you've got lumbar adjustment as well. Steering is tilt and reach adjustable. It's just manually adjustable, and on our reach test, all of this stuff is easy to reach while you're driving. Now, second row. Look at this, reasonably good knee room, toe room's not too bad. Headroom's pretty good as well. You're going to be in the back of one of these as an Uber, probably. What else have we got here? More of these El Cheapo USB-C 15 watt power outlets. You've got some air vents here. Map pockets, a center armrest with a set of cup holders there too. It's quite a nice sort of place to be seated. Let's see if the window goes down all the way. That's auto down. Look at that, fantastic. And auto up, excellent. Now let's talk cargo space. So you've got a little over 700 litres available here. If you do go for the plug-in hybrid, it reduces the space a little bit, but given Toyota puts the battery for these under that second row, it means that you do get a decent sort of complement of space in the boot. This is also good. You get a space saver spare. So a lot of car companies are just sort of putting tyre repair kits in and just not doing spares anymore. So this is kind of the next cheapest option, which is a steel space saver, but you've got it there anyway. It's not quite a full size. You do also have a space there for your cargo blind as well, which is a handy little feature. If you do want more space, 12 volts outlet over there as well. If you do want more space, you can drop the second row out of the way. That gives you pretty much a flat load floor. Before you hit the road, it's worth thinking about insurance. That's why we've partnered with Youi for this review. For insurance that's a bit more U-shaped, head to youi.com.au. So we just hit the road in the RAV4. What is it like? I'm sure you're all dying to know. So I'm going to start off with the drivetrain first. This is probably the most disappointing part because due to the Euro 6 emissions this has to meet, it's down on power compared to the old one, which is bizarre. Normally a new model is always more powerful and has more torque. So this is down by 20 kilowatts over the old one. It's 10-15% less. And the argument is it's down because of emissions, but ultimately you're meant to just make the engine more advanced so that you not only meet emissions but still retain the punchiness of the drivetrain. So unfortunately, regardless of whether you go for front wheel drive or all wheel drive, you're just going to get the same power output. So in theory that should mean that the all wheel drive is a little slower because you don't have any more oomph but you've got more weight. Now, what does all that feel like behind the wheel here? So I'll give it a punch. It's weird because those numbers make it sound like it's going to be a bit of a slouch, but it's actually not. It's still quite punchy, and while it does eventually run out of puff, they've been able to tune it to feel quite responsive compared to the previous generation model. It is still a little bit thrashy when you get on the throttle, but it retains that same just nice and smooth feel, especially when it comes to stopping. We're testing the Mazda CX-5 at the moment as well, and that doesn't have any hybrid technology. So when you come to a stop, it switches the engine off, whereas here, that whole time we were slowing down and that EV light was on, the engine was off. And then when I take off, it takes off on electric and eventually will kick the internal combustion engine on there. You barely feel a thing because it uses a motor generator to basically start the vehicle and give you that really smooth response. There is an EV mode, so if you press that, it's not going to work at the moment, but at lower speeds and when you have battery charge levels, it will allow you to run as an EV. Kind of a bit of a pointless exercise because you can see EV mode's active now. I can only really lightly use the throttle. If I go too hard, it disables immediately. So slightly sort of pointless mode, but when the plug-in hybrid comes, which we've tested previously overseas and I was a really big fan of, that thing is great because you've got a much bigger battery. It will run entirely on EV, but it is a sporty car as well. So it kind of blends both worlds. Now, what does all that mean for fuel economy? Well, we're averaging just under 6 litres per 100 Ks at the moment. We have seen that number closer to 5, but I think if you're doing a good, oh, there it goes, trying to send me off the road. I'll get to that bit in just a second. If you are doing a fair bit of city driving, you're going to find that's where this is really in its element because you're able to take advantage of it using the electric power when it takes off. That, again, this thing is so annoying. I'll get to this in just a second if it just stops trying to send me off the road. The thing with the hybrid drivetrain here is that it gives you that benefit at lower speed because you're using electric to take off and then it basically will switch the internal combustion engine on after that. A lot of that work is done getting the car moving from a standing start. So do expect that figure to go down a little bit more if you're doing predominantly city driving. Now, it trying to send me off the road, it constantly beeping at me to concentrate when I'm trying to have a coffee or something like that. They have really gone downhill when it comes to these ADAS functions. And ADAS is the safety features that governments have taken it upon themselves to mandate, yet they are arguably more dangerous than not having them at all. That system that you saw just there tried to send me off the road because it thought we were leaving our lane, and it was basically an emergency lane keeping assistant, and it's designed to give you that forced steering input because it thinks you're going to leave the road. Great when you are going to leave the road, but when it's active a lot of the time and you have to fight with the vehicle to keep it on the road, that's when it's a nuisance. And it's a nuisance because you have to switch it off every single time you drive the car. Likewise, the driver monitoring system, you've got to turn it off every single time you drive the car. It is very frustrating, and as an adult, you should be able to just press a button that says, I accept all responsibilities for turning off these stupid systems that don't work, but they don't allow you to do that. And that is thanks to the government thinking that they know best. Okay, it's all switched off now. Let's talk about the rest of the car. It's a shame that stuff is so badly calibrated because the rest of the car is actually, it's actually really good. You know, Toyota, they don't try and overcomplicate things, they just make things work. And this is a great example of things just working because you're getting a drivetrain that is really responsive. It's quiet when it needs to be. It is just idiot-proof in terms of operating it. There's really nothing to it. Steering feels great. The ride is really nice and smooth. It's on the softer side, which is typical for a Toyota to have that tune. They sort of just make it softer rather than firmer for a vehicle like this, which is pretty much exactly what you want. And we'll check on our sine waves soon what that feels like. Road noise, not great. And again, typical Toyota trait, they just haven't gone to town on sound deadening, and as a result of that, you're getting a fair bit of tyre noise come into the cabin, especially on coarse chip surfaces, and wind noise as well. So we did put it up against our calibrated sound meter. So if you do want to see how this compares to other cars that we've tested before, there is a link in the description below. What's your visibility like? Well, nice commanding driving position. I can see clearly down the front there. Wing mirrors are nice. Visibility out the back is good as well. Now, time to see just how good this ride is on the sine waves. We do this at 130 k's an hour. It's the maximum speed limit in Australia. And it gives us a good understanding of what body control is like when the speed picks up. tyres there. It's actually surprisingly pretty good. Nice and softly damped. Yeah, done a really good job at that. Okay, bumpy road time. This is a 90k an hour job. Gives us just a great idea of what this is like across some rough terrain. Yeah, this is soaking this up beautifully. We've got a condensed sine wave here. Curious to see what it's like across this, because typically if they're softer, they can float a little bit. Oh yeah, that's very floaty. Having to have steering inputs there to keep it going. So you're going to notice stuff like that, corrugations out in regional Australia on sort of washed over gravel roads. If you then pick up the pace, the car's just going to float over them, which really isn't overly confidence inspiring. You're looking to buy a RAV4 or perhaps anything else, scan the QR code on the screen and we will try and get you the best deal we possibly can. RAV4s are probably going to be hard to get you a deal on, but we'll give it a crack anyway. Our service is free. What's the worst that could happen? Scan the QR code to chat with our marketplace team. Okay, drive modes. You've got some off-road modes here, but we're not going to play with any of those. We're going to pop this into sport mode. We're going to do a faster lap around the track. We test all cars back to back in the same way to see what they feel like once the speed picks up and they're pushed sort of closer to their limits. Brake pedal feels good. Steering feels good. Got a stab out of here. Yeah, nice. Very progressive. The stability control, there it is just a little, and again, it's just a little bit bitey. It's a little overreactive, but for the most part, once it sort of leans in, you're getting pretty good body control if you're hitting bumps mid-corner. See what it's like across this faster back section. Helps that the engine is so responsive as well. It's just really quick and eager to get moving. Brake pedal feels good over the bumps through there as well. Yeah, it's just when you load up the front end, the stability control can just be a little bit intrusive there, which affects your flow, but sort of isn't the end of the world. We'll see what it's like on the back straight here. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's actually really impressive. I'm surprised by how agile this is. Not too bad. Okay, time to do some testing of the semi-autonomous systems. We do this at 70 k's an hour, so let's speed up a little bit there. Okay, there it is. Switch that on. Steering wheel has gone green, so it tried to send us off the road, off the normal road. Let's see what it's like here. Yeah, so it's doing a better job here in this lane. It's keeping us nice and central. Jump up one more lane. We'll use the 3 outer lanes. See how willing it is just to keep it within each of these lane settings. It's not too bad here as well. We've found with the newer Toyota systems, they're actually pretty decent in terms of how they work. And then we've got our outermost lane up here. Wait for that steering wheel to go green. There it is. Look at all that. Nice. Surprising because, yeah, it's very poorly calibrated for normal road driving, but keeping itself within the lanes here is really good. Now, one feature this does have, which is now becoming more common on other cars, watch what happens if I sort of just leave everything while the cruise or the adaptive cruise control is running. Basically, what it's simulating here is that I've passed out behind the wheel and that I'm no longer responsive to, to the vehicle's requests for me to grab the steering wheel, because level 2 autonomous systems like this require it to be grabbing the steering wheel on occasion. So now it's warning, and then eventually what it'll do is come to a complete stop. So it's now just gradually slowing down. You can just pretend I'm passed out here and things have gone horribly wrong. It's just slowly bringing us to a stop. It's got the hazard lights on now. And then once we do come to a stop, it'll pop the park brake on and unlock the doors.
Emergency call will commence shortly. To cancel, press the on-screen cancel button.
Do an emergency call, which I'll cancel now.
Call, cancel.
But yeah, cool technology, and it's good to see here that, it is fitted to the car to help people who might have a medical episode behind the wheel for it to pull up safely. And that was navigating itself within the lane. It never actually left the lane, which is pretty impressive. Okay, time to do a little bit of performance testing just to see how quick this is from 0 to 100 and then all the way through to 120. So line this up just here. Okie dokie, here we go. Oh, nice and strong off the line there, very nice. Okay, 100. Sorry, I gotta look around our camera there. And 120. Nice. So let's have a look. That is 0 to 100 in 7.57 seconds and 80 to 120 in 5.73. So it's pretty sort of reasonable numbers there. Nothing sort of too crazy, but certainly better than, I think it was like 9 and a bit seconds for the CX-5 that we tested recently with its naturally aspirated engine. Okay, time to do a stop from 100 to see what the brake and tyre package is like. All right, here we go. Wow, that felt very weird. The back end sort of was a little bit skittish and it was making an absolute racket out of the sort of ABS system here. Yeah, that sort of stuff isn't good because it puts people off. When they hear that noise, they think there's something wrong with the car. So they sometimes will just back out of it. So, and even that braking distance is not very good at all. So 2.95 seconds, 41.34 meters. So that is a long stopping distance with something wasn't quite right there. So I think we might do that one more time just to see if it's the same thing. But yeah, that wasn't very good at all. All right, take 2 on the stop from 100. I just want to see if the rear wheels are actually leaving the ground there. It's not good if they are. Here we go. Yeah, that noise isn't good. And what we'll do, we've tried to shoot that in a higher frame rate just to see if the wheels do leave the ground, but it did not feel very confidence inspiring. Yeah, also still an okay but not great stopping distance, 2.91 seconds, 39.9 meters. So I think there's definitely some work to be done on the braking system here and the way that it interacts with the tyres. Now, how quick does it go in reverse? We'll turn traction control off. Let's give it a crack. Here we go. Oh. All right, so just under 50 k's an hour. So the new Toyota RAV4, what do we think? Look, aside from the fact that it's down on power over the previous generation, which baffles me, this car is very hard to fault. Like it just does everything it says on the box. There's plenty of room inside. It has the latest technology. You know, aside from some of that ADAS stuff being a bit annoying, this is an excellent vehicle. So if you have a look at what RAV4 has done previously in terms of retention of value and depreciation, it being sort of economical, it really is just a bit of a no-brainer to buy in this segment because it delivers everything you need so that when you go to sell it, you're not going to lose a stack of money on it either. So yeah, let me know what you reckon. Are you going down the path of an electric car, or would you consider a hybrid instead? Let me know your thoughts. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it and you share it with your mates. But until next time, take it easy.